Ever stop to think? One simple move could change your life? As we get older, the changes in our bodies gradually start to make themselves known. The lines we see in the mirror, the slight hesitations and movements we used to do effortlessly. These are a natural part of life, a process we must accept. But what if there was a way to overcome some of the challenges that come with this process, to even almost completely eliminate them? That's where something you might not think about much comes in. Balance. Yes, balance. Something we had naturally as kids when we rode our bikes, jumped rope, or just walked around. Something we didn't really think twice about. But as we reach our 70s, balance stops being just a physical skill and becomes the cornerstone of our safety, our independence, and our daily confidence. Just imagine when you're getting up from a chair at home, reaching for a glass of water in the kitchen, or walking with your grandkids in the park. Every step, every little movement relies on our balance kicking in. So why does balance become so crucial as we age? Because after 70, even the slightest shift in the ground beneath your feet can lead to consequences that deeply impact your life. A simple fall can result in a recovery process that lasts for months or even permanent injuries. The possibility of losing your independence, struggling to do your daily activities, and living with a constant fear of falling is unfortunately not a far-fetched one. That's why, after 70, strengthening your balance stops being just a good idea and becomes an absolutely essential part of your life. But here's something that might surprise you. You don't need long and complicated exercise lists or expensive gym memberships to improve your balance. Sometimes one single, simple movement can be much more effective than a complex routine. Now, I'm getting ready to show you the single best exercise that will significantly improve your balance after 70. And there's more, along with this one miraculous movement. I'll also be sharing 3 additional movements that will protect your body as a whole, support your posture, and make you feel stronger on your feet. Whether you've noticed yourself wobbling slightly when you put on your shoes, or you hesitate to walk on uneven ground, this information is just for you, because better balance doesn't just keep you upright. It also gives you back the freedom to live life without fear. Stick with me until the end, because these 4 exercises, especially the first one I'll show you, are gentle, effective, and surprisingly powerful. By the time you finish watching this video, you won't just understand how balance works. You'll also have the tools to strengthen it right from the comfort of your own living room. And if you're someone who thinks it's too late to improve, I encourage you to stay with me. What you'll hear in the next few minutes might just change what you believe about your body's potential at any age. 1. The single leg stand, a quiet strength. Standing on one leg. When you first hear that, how simple does it sound? Well, get ready to discover the immense power that lies behind this very simplicity. This one movement, when done with focus and consistency, is one of the most effective ways to improve your balance after 70. The single leg stand works your brain, your ankles, your hips, and your core all at the same time. It strengthens the stabilizer muscles that keep you steady, improves your coordination, and teaches your body how to stay aligned even when things feel a little wobbly. What makes this exercise so valuable is that it mimics real-life situations. Think about how often you shift your weight from one leg to the other when you're walking, getting dressed, or stepping off a curb. Well, each of those actions relies on the same balance skills that the single leg stand strengthens. When you practice standing on one leg, you're training your body to catch itself before fall even begins. That's not just helpful, it can be a life-saving skill. To start this exercise, stand near a sturdy surface, like a kitchen counter or the back of a heavy chair. Shift your weight onto one leg and gently lift the other one just a few inches off the ground. Hold this position for as long as feels comfortable for you. In the beginning, this might be 10 seconds, but over time you might be able to hold it for 20 or even 30 seconds. If you need to lightly touch the counter or chair for support, that's perfectly okay. Remember, this isn't a test of strength. It's an opportunity to communicate with your body, to rebuild a connection between your muscles and your mind. Do this once on each side and repeat it 2 or 3 times. As your strength grows, you can add variations like closing your eyes for a few seconds or lifting your arms out to the side. But only do this when you feel steady and secure. The goal isn't to push your limits, It's to gently, carefully, and patiently expand them. The beauty of this movement is that it doesn't require any special equipment, a gym membership, or extra time. You can do it while you're brushing your teeth, waiting for the microwave, or standing in line. Over time, the small improvements will become noticeable. Your steps will become more firm, your turns will be smoother, and your sense of balance will become something you no longer question. It will just work, just like it used to. The single leg stand isn't just a balance drill. It's a quiet, daily promise you make to yourself that your body still listens, still adapts, and still has strength to give. You don't need to move mountains. You just need to lift one foot and trust that with each repetition, you're rewriting the way your body moves through the world. And that in itself is a victory point too. The heel-to-toe walk, the key to coordination. Have you ever tried walking along a narrow curb or balancing on a painted line at the park? If you have, you've unknowingly practiced a version of one of the most effective exercises for coordination and balance, the heel-to-toe walk. It might look simple, even playful, but this slow and deliberate movement trains your brain to stay in tune with your feet. It enhances spatial awareness, strengthens the muscles along your ankles and hips, and forces your posture to align, all of which play a major role in preventing falls and promoting graceful movement. This exercise works so well because it imitates the natural motion of walking, only in slow motion. By slowing the process down, your body becomes more aware of its own mechanics. You start to notice whether your weight is shifting too far forward or if your foot placement is slightly off. This awareness is crucial as we age because often the first thing we lose isn't strength, it's coordination. And this exercise is a fantastic way to train it back. Picture someone like Robert. He was 77 years old, a former postal worker who always took pride in his brisk walking pace. But after a minor trip on his porch steps, he started moving more cautiously. His doctor suggested the heel-to-toe walk as part of his recovery. Robert started doing it every morning in his hallway, just a few steps at a time. What surprised him the most wasn't just the improvement in his steadiness. It was a return of his confidence. He no longer feared that his body might betray him. He could trust his steps again. To do this movement, stand tall in a hallway or in a space where you can take at least 10 steps forward. Place the heel of your front foot directly in front of the toes of your back foot, as if you're walking on a tightrope. Then shift your weight forward and take the next step in the same heel-to-toe fashion. Move slowly, looking ahead, not down, and keep your arms out slightly if it helps with your balance. It's perfectly fine to walk alongside a wall or a counter for support until your footing feels more secure. What's powerful about this exercise is that it not only improves your physical balance, it also sharpens your mental focus. Your brain has to actively process each movement, each placement, and each transition, and that ongoing attention forms stronger connections in your nervous system, which helps prevent slips and missteps in everyday life. Some people think balance exercises need to be intense or dramatic to be effective, but the heel-to-toe walk proves otherwise. Its strength lies in its simplicity. The slow, steady rhythm of one foot in front of the other has been a symbol of forward progress for generations, and in this case, it becomes a literal path toward greater steadiness and strength. Over time, you'll notice more than just better posture or fewer wobbles. You'll feel taller, more centered, and more connected to the ground beneath you. And when you're walking across a parking lot or navigating your kitchen floor, that quiet stability will remind you of the work you've done. It's not about being perfect. It's about being prepared. 3. The sit-to-stand without hands, a measure of independence. One of the clearest ways to gauge your strength and balance after 70 is by observing how easily you can get up from a chair. It sounds simple, but the ability to rise from a seated position without using your hands is a strong indicator of lower body power, core control, and stability. That's why the sit-to-stand exercise, done without hand support, is one of the most important habits you can build to stay independent and confident in your movements. Think about how many times a day you move from sitting to standing, getting up from the couch, rising from the dinner table, leaving the car. These everyday actions depend on a combination of balance, strength, and coordination. If any one of those is weak, the risk of strain or falling increases. But with practice, this simple motion becomes not only safer but smoother. And that smoothness is what gives you ease in your daily life. Let's take the story of Marlene, a 74-year-old woman who lived alone and had recently begun avoiding social gatherings. Not because she didn't enjoy the company, but because she dreaded having to get up from low chairs. The struggle made her feel embarrassed. But instead of resigning herself to that discomfort, she began practicing sit-to-stand at home each morning. Just 5 repetitions a day, no rush, no pressure. Within a few weeks, her legs felt stronger. Within a couple of months, she noticed she could rise more easily, not just at home, but anywhere. To do this exercise properly, begin with a sturdy chair that doesn't slide. Sit upright near the edge of the seat, feet flat on the floor and shoulder width apart. Cross your arms over your chest or hold them out in front of you. Then press your feet into ground and stand up slowly, keeping your chest lifted and your back straight. Once fully standing, lower yourself back down with control. Avoid flopping into the seat or using momentum to rise. The goal is steady strength, not speed. You may only be able to do 2 or 3 repetitions at first, and that's perfectly fine. This exercise isn't about numbers, it's about function. And with repetition, you'll notice your muscles responding. Your thighs, glutes, and core will become more engaged. Your transition from sitting to standing will require less effort. You'll feel more confident reaching for something across the table or standing up to greet a guest. This movement also teaches your body how to manage pressure shifts as you rise and lower. Your center of gravity changes. Practicing this helps your nervous system get used to those shifts, reducing the likelihood of dizziness or imbalance. And because it's something you're already doing each day, turning it into a conscious habit is easy to maintain. There's something empowering about reclaiming ease in small movements. It's not about dramatic workouts or trying to turn back time. It's about moving with intention, building trust in your body, and reminding yourself that strength is still within reach. Every time you rise from a chair without help, you're affirming that you're capable and that your body is still working with you, not against you. For the standing march in place, rhythm and coordination and harmony. At first glance, marching in place might not seem like much, but when done with purpose, it becomes one of the most effective ways to keep your body coordinated, strong, and alert. This simple motion combines rhythm, posture, and mobility into one balanced movement. And it's especially helpful for older adults who want to stay active without straining their joints. Standing marching strengthens your hips, engages your core, and wakes up the communication between your muscles and your brain. And perhaps most importantly, it helps you maintain the upright confidence that keeps you walking with ease. As we age, our steps tend to become smaller, slower, and more cautious. That's natural. But what we don't often realize is how much those changes affect our balance. When your stride shortens and your hip movement decreases, your posture begins to shift, and that makes falls more likely. Standing marching helps reverse this process. By lifting one knee at a time and holding your balance in between, you're retraining your body to move with strength and coordination. It's a gentle but powerful way to remind your legs of the rhythm they once had. Take someone like Walter, age 79. After recovering from a knee injury, he noticed that his walk had become stiff. He didn't swing his arms anymore, and he avoided uneven ground. His daughter suggested he try marching in place during the commercials while watching television. It sounded silly to him, but he gave it a try. Within 2 weeks, he noticed more energy in his stride. Within a month, he was walking with more rhythm, more fluidity, and far less hesitation. To start this movement, stand tall beside a counter or sturdy chair. Lift your right knee slowly. Hold for a second, then place your foot back down and lift your left knee. Alternate back and forth in a gentle marching rhythm. You can keep your hands lightly resting on a surface at first, or extend them forward to help with balance. If it helps, you can count your steps or even do it to music. Anything that makes the rhythm feel steady and natural. Don't worry about how high your knees go. What matters is control, not height. Over time, as your hips and thighs strengthen, you may find that your knees rise a bit higher and your posture feels more upright. That's progress. And more consistent you are, the more natural this movement becomes, not just while marching, but while walking down the street, climbing stairs, or turning quickly when someone calls your name. This exercise also helps you stay mentally alert. The coordinated movement between your upper and lower body engages more of your brain, helping keep your reflexes sharp and your focus steady. That's one of the beautiful things about marching. It works both the body and the mind. Small steps lead to big changes. Now that we've walked through each of these 4 simple yet powerful exercises, take a moment to reflect. What surprised you the most? Was it the effectiveness of something as basic as standing on one leg, or the gentle strength building behind marching in place? The truth is, you don't need fancy routines or long hours at the gym to regain balance. What you need is consistency, awareness, and a belief that your body can still improve, because it can, and it starts with one small step at a time. Balance isn't just about preventing falls. It's about walking with confidence, moving through your house without hesitation, picking something up off the floor without fear. It's about reclaiming your freedom. The freedom to move, to go where you please, to say yes to invitations without wondering if your body can keep up. These 4 exercises aren't just movements. They're tools to help you trust your footing again. Don't let the simplicity fool you. Small movements create big shifts, especially when repeated daily. Think of each one as a gift to your future self. Every time you lift your leg, rise from a chair without help, or take deliberate heel-to-toe steps, you're investing in a future that feels stronger, steadier, and more secure. There's no rush, no pressure, only the steady, quiet progress that builds when you decide your health still matters and that it's never too late to make a change. These movements might not look dramatic, but the impact they have over time is profound, and you deserve to feel that strength for yourself. Thank you for joining me today. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to me, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives me great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful,